Anyways, it's been a while since my last video, and that's mainly because I didn't feel like doing one. And if I'm not a YouTuber. If I don't feel like doing something, I'm simply not gonna do it. And this is actually a video I wanted to make, but I just had no motivation. So I just wanted to talk about Black girlhood and why I feel like within the Nymphet community specifically, Black girlhood is not viewed with the same grace that white girlhood is treated with. So when you think of like the Nymphet aesthetic, of course you're gonna think of like Dolores Hayes, but even more than that, you're gonna think of thin white girls and pastel colors and with vintage style clothing, with heart-shaped glasses, with long wavy hair, and just pale skin everywhere. And the thing is, Nymphet aesthetic at its heart is about reclaiming girlhood and not necessarily innocence, because I don't think you have to be an innocent person to reclaim your girlhood. And I think purity, like complexes and purity politics, are just not helpful. But it's just about reclaiming your own girlhood and yourself in a way that feels comfortable with you. And I don't want to say femininity either, because I think femininity is very different for everyone, and I think that is a unfair box to put people in, especially when you consider like the amount of non-binary nymphets there were, or like trans nymphets and fawnlets. So I think like femininity isn't a good word either. It's not really about reclaiming femininity, it's more about claiming the way you grew up. So that's why I said girlhood for shorthand, but I guess you could say childhood too. But the problem is Black girlhood is not viewed in the same way white girlhood is. And by that I mean, if you have a picture of a Black girl with bamboo earrings and a mini skirt, like a denim mini skirt, and like baby fat on, and you could have her in the same picture as a white girl with heart-shaped sunglasses and a sundress on, and which one would you consider an Nymphet? First off, you would consider that white girl a Nymphet, because the way Black girlhood is viewed as more adult or less innocent, and is not considered as valid. And it's like, to be in the Nymphet community, it feels like a lot of the Black girls are pressured to look and fit in the same white girlhood box that white girls own. And that's not to say that there aren't any Black girls that do dress and act the same or as similar as the white girls, or have interests that are similar to the white girls. It's not saying that at all. It's just saying that Black girls who have a distinctly Black way of showing their girlhood are not considered as valid. And you can see that all the time. Like if you have a picture of a Black girl with like box braids, and she's like in a beauty supply, it would not get the same Nymphet connotations as a white girl in a diner or in a daisy field, even though at its core the aesthetic is about girlhood, and both of these people are displaying their girlhood in a way that is specific to them. Black girls are hypersexualized already, and so it doesn't help when you're in a aesthetic that is about desexualizing yourself. Or, well, actually, I'm not gonna say it's necessarily about desexualizing yourself, because I think there's also space for girls in the aesthetic who are more promiscuous. That'll be another topic in another video. But as a side note, I want to say there's nothing wrong with being like promiscuous if you're safe and everything, and you're not like messing around with old people. Like if you're a more promiscuous girl, or if you're more flirtatious and like less innocent, there's nothing wrong with that. But this is just for the context of what I'm talking about. I think it's unfair that Black girls are hypersexualized already, and if a Black girl wants to do something that is normal to her, she wears a denim mini skirt with a baby fat tube top and bamboo earrings why is she not viewed under the same Nymphet aesthetic lens as, say, a white girl in, you know, the stereotypical Nymphet clothing with the Bardot top and the sailor shorts? Because fundamentally, they're the same outfit. A tube/crop top and a mini skirt or short shorts. But one is viewed under the Nymphet lens, but the other is viewed as more adult, or she is overtly sexual, even though she's just wearing clothes that fundamentally fit the same pattern as the white girl does. Black girls are already considered less feminine. We're considered more manly. You can see that in the way people comment on our pictures or give us compliments. They say step on me or spit on me, and it could be a picture of a black girl just literally sitting in like a diner drinking a milkshake, and someone could say please step on me, and that's very charged. You may not realize it. That's what a microaggression is it's not being overtly racist, but it's assigning certain connotations and certain behaviors onto someone, even if the situation doesn't call for it. Like, that has happened to me and tons of other black girls, where we could be in the most frilly pink babyish outfits and still be coded as hyper aggressive and hypersexual. And white Nymphets never really seemed to understand the fact that they did not see us as valid members of the community subliminally. They weren't actively trying to push us out. They never did that. But it was more in the reactions to things we posted. It was more in the lack of interaction. Like, no one would give us the same amount of notes unless we fit into that white ideal of girlhood. I could make a picture of me like in a beauty supply, like on the wig rack, like by the wig racks, and dressed in something that is connected to me and how I grew up, which would be rockaware, baby fat, FUBU, all types of things. That would be very specific to how I grew up, and I could be sitting there wearing that in a very Nymphet-like pose and aesthetic, but it's not considered Nymphet aesthetic. It would be considered something else, even though I don't consider myself to be that other aesthetic, like the cyber ghetto, for instance. And I just think we need to rework what we think girlhood is. White girlhood is not more valid than black girlhood or Asian girlhood or Latinx girlhood. And the reason why I don't mention them is because that's simply not my experience, and I do not want to speak on something that I do not have any information on or any life experience about. I feel like that would be unfair, and if any of the other girls of color in the community would like to speak out, that is their space. I simply just want to open the space to have these conversations, because like, fundamentally you cannot separate my race from me, because when you see me, you don't say, oh, that's a girl. You will say, oh, that is a black girl, and me being a black girl influences how people in the world around me works. That's just the fact of the matter. There's nothing I can do about that, and there's nothing you can do about that either, because it'll take some years to like undo 300 years of it is what it is. So I think what I'm really trying to say is we need to rework our idea of what girlhood is, because if your only image of girlhood is a white girl with long hair, you're isolating the black girls who may have grown up more alternative. You're isolating because another thing, alternative or grunge Nymphets are accepted. Goth Nymphets are accepted with more fervor than a black girl who is considered a Nymphet. You could have a white girl in like the most punk outfit you could find, and she would still be considered a Nymphet, and it would be the least like frilly girly outfit you could see. But if she considers herself a Nymphet, she would be welcomed with open arms. But if a black girl just wears something that was just an indicator of how she grew up and her type of girlhood, it would not be viewed with the same Nymphet lens. You see, there's a reason why there are so many subcategories of nymphets that are more readily accepted than a black girl wearing what she considers something that is personal to her and being considered a nymphette. And I think that really needs to change, because if a black girl with bamboo gold earrings and beauty supply wigs and long braided hair, or like thick kinky hair and dark skin, dressed in something that is indicative of her girlhood, why is she not considered a nymphette when a white girl wearing nothing but like all punk attire considered a nymphette for her? Like grunge nymphets. Grunge nymphets is a very wide category, and they'll wear things that are not considered stereotypically nymphette but be still considered a part of the community before a black girl does. And I really think that needs to change. And I may have sounded like I'm talking in circles, but that's because like I kind of just got on here and started recording. Like I'm not even gonna edit this, I'm gonna throw it on here. And I think that it is the least of things that you can think about, because I'm trying to do my best to put other images of nymphets in the Nymphet tag on Tumblr. Well, not Nymphet tag, I use the Coquette tag on Tumblr. I'll also be doing a video about why I choose to use Coquette instead of Dolette soon, but I really do think we need to unpack our internal biases that we may not realize we have. And if a black girl posts in the Coquette tag and she has on a FUBU and long butt length box braids, she should be considered an infant as much as the white girl in Doc Martens and a Doll's Kill outfit.